there's a high risk of mass extinction of internet businesses online. You have the Googles, Yahoos, YouTubes, etc., that are fixing the game with their data and AI. And so what we're here to do is fix that problem. My name is Rich Schefren. I've been kind of labeled as the guru to the gurus. Some people call me like an OG of internet marketing. I was the coach to Mike Filsaime, or Ryan Dice, Russell Brunson, Todd Brown. I'm probably the only one in the game that has a single testimonial where I made $1 billion difference in a company. Why am I here? Why do I care? One of the things that I'm always taken very seriously is that if I'm going to teach someone how to grow their business, the stuff I teach them better work, because they're putting their life on the line. And there's a lot of stuff out there that doesn't work. Because when you sell something that doesn't work, what you're really doing is not only taking money from someone, you're robbing them of the hope that they had, any promises that they gave to their family about life being different. I was in that situation. The first 2 years I was online, I failed because I was following the wrong advice. And so I'm back because I don't want to see the market that I helped create disappear. Well, here's what I'm going to do to solve it. I've called the world's top experts in every area of online marketing. We're going to go for 24 hours for free. You're going to get strategies and concepts and tactics that are working today so that you can steal them, right? Winners. You can steal our winners so that you can be on the winning side as opposed to the losing side, which I believe that most small businesses, unfortunately, are going to be in. I believe it's going to be one of the biggest events online in the last decade, if not longer. It's going to be epic. It's going to be 24 hours long. It's going to be free. If you come to this epic event, an event that only I think, could actually gather this amount of tremendous knowledge all in one building, then you will have what it takes to win today and tomorrow. And so be here. So welcome to another live stream. I'm Rich Schefren. I do these live streams every Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesdays from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern, and Thursdays, which is today, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And we are broadcasting live right now on YouTube, in our Facebook group, on my Facebook page, in LinkedIn, and Periscope. And so if you're watching on YouTube, please make sure to hit the thumbs up, comment, and subscribe to the channel. If you're watching on Facebook, also comment, emote. And if you're not a member already of our free group, Strategic Profits, please join that. And who is messaging me right now? I don't want to be bothered, so I'm going to turn that off and make sure that I'm in do not disturb mode, which I should be. I wasn't until tomorrow. Cool. And so let's see. Yes, please comment, please emote. And if you're watching on LinkedIn, please follow. And especially, please share it. And if you do share, here we go, like Talk Right Communications, then please put shared in the comments so that I can thank you personally. So as always, what I like to do when I start is kind of just give you the setup of what we're going to talk about and the way I'd love it to go down. So we're talking about continuity income. We're talking about how to sell subscriptions, how to sell a membership, and what needs to be done in order to maximize it, in order to not just have it be a waste of time and then pack it all in, but have something that has sustainability in it that actually grows your lifetime value and grows your business. And so if you're hearing me right now, which hopefully you are, I am not muted, right? And why is my girlfriend calling me when she knows that I am doing my live stream? So that is strange. You guys can hear me, right? I hope you can, because that would be horrible if you didn't. No, you should be able to. So yeah, we're talking about continuity income, subscriptions, memberships, etc. And I see a lot of mistakes that entrepreneurs do as they're trying to have a continuity program of their own. My experience in this matter comes from, coaching as many people as I've coached, and then also having worked with Agora Publishing for close to now 17 years, have a $1 billion testimonial from them. So you could say that selling subscriptions is certainly in my wheelhouse. And so what I wanted to do today was to talk more about this. And I certainly have some notes that I'm eager to share, and also want your questions. I don't know if you can see, there you go. Would love to get some questions from you regarding, if you, as it relates to any kind of subscription you sell or would like to sell or thinking about selling, in addition to any membership site that you have, and or any kind of continuity income really whatsoever. And so along all of those lines, let's try and make this as much of a dialogue and less of me just speaking and being a monologue, because it's a lot more enjoyable to me, and also it should be more beneficial to you if you ask me questions, because then I know where to kind of guide my advice. For those of you that were on the Steal Our Winners Q&A call yesterday, just a few of you, it was great meeting you, and thank you for your questions, and I hope I gave you advice that kind of put you on the right path. So with all that said, a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions about continuity income, and a lot of people don't really understand and appreciate like what ultimately is the goal. And so I want to kind of clarify that to you. And then in addition to that, please let me know that you're here and where here is for you. Where are you watching this? And I don't know if today's the day, but I'd like to do a cool contest at some point. So maybe we'll do that next week. I'd like to do a contest next week, like where people can take a picture of themselves watching the live stream and posting it, and we'll create some kind of tag or something like that. And then we'll give whoever wins, like we'll pick a winner or two, and we can give them one of these. So I have a bunch of these still in my office here. Disobey Big Tech, that's me. So yeah, I think we'll do that next week. That'll be fun. All right, so yeah, I want you to, the very first thing, so let me know where you guys are watching from. I'll pull up your comments so we can say hello to everyone. But the first thing that I want to talk to you about is forever challenges, right? That in any hobby even, or any activity, business, etc., there are certain challenges, there are certain obstacles, certain problems that never get fully resolved, right? So that's why we call them a forever challenge, right? One of the reasons why I created Steal Our Winners around what I created it around is that having the best marketing tactics powering your business is a forever challenge, because the tactics always diminish over time, and it's not necessarily easy to get access to what are the tactics that are currently working best right now. So that's a forever challenge, right? Kind of similar to the idea, right, that Intel a long time ago figured out that the most financially lucrative place to be was to own the chips if they could make a market for the chips in the whole computer industry, which was why they made so much money when other people did not, right? Chip speed was always something that was going to set the kind of benchmark each new iteration. So having the fastest chips is kind of tackling that forever challenge, which is I want my computer to work faster, right? So in your market, what are forever challenges? Because ultimately, right, if you're going to create some kind of membership or subscription, the idea should be that it should be around some forever challenge, right? Certainly maximizing the worth of your investments is a forever challenge, right? Like most people don't say, I'm going to stop investing now, I have enough money. So because of that, investment, right? Health, people generally, in addition, is a forever challenge. And so I want you to think about your industry, your market, most specifically your prospects, and what's a challenge that they will continue to have.
Because if it's not a challenge that they continue to have, then a good argument could be made that maybe that it would be better to create a course or a simple product and not have an ongoing membership. Let me know if that makes sense to you. This idea of a forever kind of challenge and why that's so important, right? And why there is such a push overall to develop memberships or subscriptions is that the cost to acquire a customer only goes up over time, increasingly, right? So it increases and costs more to acquire a customer over time, right? Today, most likely will be the cheapest day to get customers, and tomorrow will be a little bit more expensive, and the next day. So if you follow that logic, right, that it increasingly becomes more difficult, more challenging, and more costly to get customers, then the very next logical conclusion that you should come to, that I should come to, is that if it's going to get more expensive to get customers, we want to be able to hold on to customers for longer, right? The longer we hold on to them, right, the more our business is going to make if they're active. And that's one less customer that we'll need to go out and get if we already have them in our business, in our ecosystem, paying us, right? So let's say hello to who's here, and then we'll dive in more. I want to talk to you. One of the things that I do want to talk to you about, and I just started thinking about this, but I have thought about this concept before as it related to some of my other businesses. So I want to explain the concept first, then we'll say hello to everyone. What I used to do in the store, when I had the stores, when I had the hypnosis centers, primarily there, I don't know if I ever did it with my coaching program. I think I did, where I basically mapped out all of the interactions that were most likely going to happen, and then what my objective was for each of those steps, right? So, for example, when someone first came into my clothing store, right, the goal of the salesperson was, one, to act busy, right? They had to have something in their hand at all times so that they didn't seem like a threat to customers, because customers will engage with someone who looks busy because they're not afraid that that person's then going to latch onto them. And the first question to ask would be, have you been in the store before? And if they hadn't been in the store before, then the goal for the first goal for the salesperson to accomplish in that conversation would be to sell them on the store, right? We want to take an attempt to sell them on what makes the store so special and unique, so that we increase the likelihood that they will be a long-term customer, right? So same in your, we talk about a customer journey, right? Another kind of map that you might want to think about is a membership journey map. Identifying all of the touch points and interactions and your goals throughout the process, so that you can make sure that you design every step of the way to most facilitate what your long-term goals are, what your business wants, and ultimately the great experience that will keep your clients active members. So with that said, let's kind of see who's with us today, this evening. And let's see. All right. So sharing on my Facebook page. Thank you, Talk Right Communications, even though you're watching on YouTube. So you went to Facebook to share. Very cool. That was a great video on your deeper purpose and connection piece. Inspirational for me, Rich. Oh, cool. Well, thank you. Yeah, I figured, I try and mix up the videos. At some point, I hope to get some videos specifically as intros for my live streams, but I figure I can always pull some of my old pieces from old campaigns. So thank you, Artemis. And howdy, Ned Bragg. And thank you for sharing. Hello, Renan. Good seeing you again. And thank you for being here. Shared on my co-working page. Renan, you never cease to impress me. Peter, hey, Rich, love the new intro to Steal the Winners. Cool to hear the reason you created it. Cool. Yes. Hearing me loud and clear. Cool. 5 by 5. I'm not sure what 5 by 5 means. This is perfect timing. I was reading your final chapter last night and happened to be reading the back end chapter. This is perfect. Oh, very cool. Hi, Rich. What about YouTube memberships to get subscription revenue? That's interesting. I have not given that a lot of thought, nor have I given like Patreon a lot of thought. So I don't feel that comfortable really talking about it because I feel like I can't talk intelligently about it. It certainly can work. There are certainly there are free weekly shows on YouTube that if I had to pay for them, I probably would. So I think though, and I'm not sure how a YouTube subscription works for at least my type of business, right? I need more control than just the ability to have gated content. I'm not sure what YouTube does for that. So that's something to explore at some point. Thanks for the question though, Jonathan. I am doing well. How are you doing, Daryl? Hey, Rich, one thing I can't get clear for 5 years. One, start building my list from zero. Can I sell from day zero, even from the thank you page? And if so, wouldn't that burn my list and relationship? No, it wouldn't. What you have to understand is that people don't dislike buying, right? They dislike being sold to, but they actually enjoy buying, right? In fact, I have this. I am very much excited because I have something coming today, hopefully, that is my Normatec, it's compressed air and it like compresses the whole body. I enjoy that. So here's the point. And sorry for going a little long there, but people enjoy buying. And if you can, and when we've tested this at Agora, but the tests are not really, I would say, the most accurate. But when we've tested, because we didn't go really far out in time, but we've tested like the more emails that we send that are selling, the more money we make. Now, long term, maybe that goes down, and I would assume it would. But does that negate, or will it? Does treating prospects with kid gloves, does that net you more money? Odds are not. So yes, you should sell right on your thank you page. Yes, you can sell from email zero. If you're going to sell from email zero, you need to do that in a deft sort of way. Can't be like crude or it's going to be ineffective. But it is the email that is most like looked at. And so I would say, yes, you can. And it could be an offer that they passed up on in the upsell or something like that. So there's plenty that you can do, but the answer is yes. If you've been trying for 5 years to get that answer, that's the answer. Okay. Hello, Facebook user. And if you want me to know who you are, you have to go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and give StreamYard permission to know who you are. Reference yesterday's call, already putting your advice into practice. Very cool, Renan. Woohoo. Well, woohoo to you too, Michelle. Love it. Cool. Joining from the beautiful Sky, Colorado. Very cool, Chad. Jealous. It's a little bit warm here. Cool t-shirt. Well, it's going to be someone's next week. We're going to we'll have a contest. Jim Brown in San Diego. Good to see you, my friend. And Lisa in Israel, good to see you. And Daryl in Florida, good to see you. And Christine in Brisbane, Australia, a place I've been, very cool place. For someone that only does email, how can I sell from emails every day so I don't look salesy? Could sell only from PS area. Yeah, you could do that. You could also just like subscribe to Ben Settle, subscribe to Matt Fury, subscribe to Ian Stanley. They all send daily emails and they all pitch in their emails, but they do it in a way that is enjoyable to read, engaging, and has like slice of life. So you certainly can. If you've never gone through Andre Chaperone's Autoresponder Madness, that's a great email course. But you certainly can. Massachusetts, very cool, David Thayer. And thank you, Troy, for sharing it in your group. And hey, Facebook user in New Mexico, and Patty in New York City. Patty Rose Slater. My girlfriend is in New York City right now. That makes total sense. Cool. Good to know. Wow. Okay. Makes sense. Cool. Yes, playing Facebook ads casino sounds like a good idea. So true. Okay, cool. Rich, hi from Vienna, Austria. Very cool. Nice to see you, John. How about a subscription in the CBD space? Yeah, there are subscriptions in the CBD space. It all comes down to acquisition. My friend and Steal Our Winners contributor, Julian Reyes. Julian has, and his partner Andrew have a product called the Exodus Effect. It's a front-end book that talks about how the translation of the Bible was incorrect. And instead of it saying cannabis oil, it says like Cialis oil. And so the real Bible wanted people to take CBD, and that's their front end. And then they have a continuity for a CBD delivery monthly behind it. But the front end, I know they're crushing. So I would assume they're crushing on the back end. But yes, could be a good business. Contemporaries are forever. This is our time, and whoever is on the ride with us in this lifetime. Okay. Melbourne, Australia. Sweet. Hi from London. Hey, Dave. Good to see you. And Lisa in Miami. Good to see you. And where in my SOW dashboard can I find your live call calendar schedule? I'm not sure, Abel, what I do them every 2 weeks, I think, is what I do them on Wednesdays. And Steal Our Winner lifetime subscribers get 3 that they can schedule at any time. Hey, Rich, Mark Fitzpatrick here. Hey, did you ever dissect Ron Popeil infomercials? If so, it would be interesting to see you share thoughts on his techniques. No, I never did. Only Billy Mays was the one, and that took me a 3-day power writing session. So I don't know that, and I didn't know Ron like I knew Billy. Hey, Rich, dialing from the home office in Champaign, Illinois, birthplace of the World Wide Web, and also a fraternity brother of mine. I forget his name, though. My guess regarding YouTube Patreon, it's better to own the members on a platform of your own, not rely on third parties that can change terms of service overnight or ban you. I would tend to agree with that, John, so good point on that. Hello, Rich. How are you? I am glad to be here and watch your live again. I consider it a privilege and honor to be in this space. Well, thank you, Aziel. And where are you watching from, Aziel? Hi, Rich. Jesse from Newport Beach here. Just finished the replay from Tuesday and excited to continue the topic. Thank you for all your valuable info. Also, RIP Ron Popeil. Yes. Hi, handsome. Hello from New York City. That must be my girlfriend. Kim, if you go to streamyard.com/Facebook, they will know it's you. So true. One is the most dangerous number. Hey, Rich, Ralph from San Francisco Bay. Looking forward to today's discussion. Hey, Rich, neighbor to the south from Highland Beach. Hey, Glenn. My client offers single courses as well as all-you-can-eat style membership. Would you offer prospects the course first? They're 2 times more expensive than the membership, and then the trial? Or would you offer a trial of the membership site first, and if they refuse, the course? My client offers single courses as well as all-you-can-eat style membership. Well, the first question I have, I guess, is everything that's in the membership in the course? Because that's not necessarily the most wise thing, but okay. Would you offer your prospects the course first? They're 2 times more expensive than the membership. Yes, I certainly would. And then the trial? Well, yeah, then the trial, or maybe offer them the course and give them the membership for free for 2 years or something like that, or a year. You know, at the end of the day, you have to have some reason why people should buy the membership. And there has to be some immediate gratification for that. Generally, we use a premium. We use some kind of bonus to sell, to get people to join. So one way you could do that is use the course, right, that they need to buy, but like they get 2 years free in the membership, or they get when they buy 2 years in the membership, they get the course for free. So I would think about that in some way, shape, or form. So Jesus wants us to take CBD. If you read the Exodus effect book, yes, I guess that's their point. Nice positioning. It is, isn't it? Hi, Rich and Peeps. Davey Paul here, just watching from one of my pseudo YouTube channels. Very cool, Davey Paul. Good to see you. Rich, who has written Billy Mays' copy? Was it himself? For the most part, yeah, it was him and the other guy. I did like a 28-page analysis, and when he passed away. And when I did that, that went viral. I remember Russell Brunson posted, I've never read a full blog post to its ending, let alone a 28-page one, but I did this. And Guthrie Ranker sent it through their internal intranet, because we had tons of hits coming from Guthrie Ranker. So I know that they read it. And basically what I did is I just dissected everything that I knew Billy did. I watched all his commercials. I got them transcribed. I time marked them all. Dan Kennedy actually sent out an article about my piece. It was cool. I'm considering creating a membership group based on ideas from pod hackers you interviewed last week. My frustration is finding a community discussion tool. Listeners don't like Facebook ideas. What is that one site that like Mike Dillard uses? Circle? Is that it? Like, I think it's Circle. I think it's Circle is one that I think a lot of people have told me about, Chad. If that's not, tell me if that's not it, but I think it's Circle. Have you looked at creating a podcast subscription that is paid? No, I have not. But what I am thinking about doing, and it's really just like, there's so many things that we want to do. But two things along those lines. One, I want to make Steal Our Winners well, do I want to do that? Well, I do want to make it a private podcast so people can listen to the audios if they're a subscriber. And then I want to launch a podcast. You know, I've talked about that. And the podcast would really just be like a 15-minute kind of podcast where I'm using the same guests of Steal Our Winners, but I'm not talking about like what's the most effective strategy that they're using right now. I would ask something more along the lines of what was the most impactful like marketing tactic or strategy that they've ever used, and what were the big takeaways from that going forward, or something like that, right? But the point of it would be that I have these people and I'm talking to them. Why not create a podcast that would then send traffic to Steal Our Winners? So that is what I've been thinking about as it relates to podcasts, at least. Yes, that was your girlfriend, Kim, LOL. I'm in New Jersey right now. How do you know that it was her? Oh, because maybe it's showing up on Facebook that way. Got it. Thanks. You're welcome. If I don't have a personal blog, can I give content from email? And selling like Ben Settle in every email isn't considered pitching all the time and look salesy. Don't worry about it. No, I mean, people understand why they're getting on Ben Settle's list. He will entertain you as he tries to sell you, and there's nothing wrong with that. Side note about Ron Popeil. I had the opportunity to spend some time with one of Ron's business partners. Very interesting stories. I can only imagine. There are plenty of podcast subscriptions for people who want to listen without commercials. There are also extra episodes for supporters. That makes sense. Okay. Wow. Okay. So we went through all this. Very cool. And let's see. Hey, from New Zealand. Hey, Rich, just joined the live. Is this an open Q&A? It is an open Q&A as it relates to subscriptions, membership sites, and things of that nature. All right. So what I was mentioning was mapping out your membership journey, right? Like what you want to have a long-term relationship with as many clients and customers as you possibly can. What often defines a relationship is that initial period of time that kind of sets expectations. It kind of lets us know who we're dealing with. Basically, the beginning of the relationship sets the tone for the rest of the relationship. So what you would want to do is basically create a map of that experience. Like, what is the experience that you want, right? What are those magic moments that you can engineer into the process so that people are really happy that they joined, right? We talked about last time the mistake of just thinking that you're going to add more content, give them more, that would make people happy. Oftentimes, the act of giving people more actually makes people feel overwhelmed and overloaded. And in fact, one of the reasons that we're completely redoing the Steal Our Winners site is because this was, and I think I've shared this metaphor before, but I'll share it again. I kept telling my team that it's like, hey, I feel like I am traveling all around the world, getting the absolute like best dishes, the best tasting dishes throughout the world. And I want it served as a buffet. I want people to be able to see all those dishes, pick the ones that they're most excited about, and just those ones. And what are we doing? We're taking those 300 dishes and we're putting each one on a separate plate. And then we're bringing all 300 plates to this 4-top table. And then we're wondering, like, why some people feel overwhelmed or overloaded. Like, of course they do. We're serving this completely wrong. The experience is totally not right. And I don't want to do anything else, like create another product or release my coaching program until this is done right. And so we've been working on it, and there's some really cool stuff that the team has showed me that will facilitate that. And so once I've gotten that right, because I felt like that really was a problem, I could have done a lot of other stuff to make it better, but I would be working against what the platform was. But you want to map it out, right? And you want to understand what makes them join and what is going to keep them, right? Like it's harder to keep people than get them, right? People buy because of what you promise them. They stick around more so because they like you, because they enjoy the experience. And sometimes even at the expense of the results that you provide. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is that at Agora, zero, right? Zero correlation between the performance of the tips that the guru gives and the renewal rate. No correlation, right? The gurus that often provide the worst tips on a consistent basis, you'd lose money with them. Their subscriber base grows and renews. And then ones that are constantly delivering like powerful, like money upside, not necessarily so. So as boggling as that sounds, because it does sound boggling to me, that is the case. So you can't just rely on the quality of what you give people or the impact if they use it. You have to get a lot more granular, and you have to map out like when nothing happens magically, right? You're going to have to map out everything that you want engineered. So like, as I started thinking about it a little while before I started this live stream, when I started thinking about it, I wrote down, how do we engineer a win, and how quickly can we engineer a win, right? How quickly and how do we foster that they're part of a community, right? And what days do we make that happen? At what point do we attempt to get people to refer someone else, right? At what point do we try and sell additional items to this member, right? How do we make the first 30 days, how do we sell something, get them feeling like they're part of the community? Like, how do we get them integrated into all these parts? And the only way that that gets answered is mapping out each day and what's going to happen, right? How do we get them to lock it? At what point should we try to get them to lock in a longer commitment? If they came in on a $1 trial, can we get them to subscribe? If they came in on a 1-month subscription, can we get them to upgrade to annual? If they came in annual, can we get them to upgrade to lifetime? So at what point do we want to do that, right? At what point should we try to get them to post to social media something that relates to Steal Our Winners? Join a private Steal Our Winners Facebook group, which we will be building shortly. When should we ask them to identify topics they're most interested in? How can we increase engagement? How do we get them logging in every day for the first 10 days or something like that? How do we, at what point do we, and how do we engineer getting our subscribers to a quick win, get them to write a case study and submit the case study, right? So all of these kinds of questions can be answered in what I would call a membership journey map. And basically, it's just straightforward. What you're doing is what happens each day that really kind of moves people forward in alignment with your goals, right? So let's kind of go back here to the back and forth, and let's see what kind of questions you have. And then if none, I will go further in my notes. And I also have a bunch of Evernote notes to my left and right on memberships and subscriptions and things like that. In my humble opinion, if you had a podcast with the SOW people with a quick 15-minute per discussion, thought it would touch different people, broader crowd. Yeah, well, I mean, but one of the reasons why I would do it is, one, I already have these people. Two, it would be really awesome from a standpoint of promoting Steal Our Winners, because it's like I can end with it. Well, if that was, so-and-so's most successful campaign ever and what they learned from it, but if you want to know what is working for them best right now, you can join Steal Our Winners, blah, 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 right? So that's the idea there. Thank you for the circle tip. Looks like what I want, a premium white labeled community experience, they say. Cool. Glad to help, Chad. Are you watching Oscar De La Hoya versus Vitor Belfort for boxing match? If not, what's your thoughts about it? Yeah, I'm not going to watch it. I'm not that interested in it. I'm not interested in Oscar De La Hoya. I think he's a joke these days. Vitor lives in this area, so I'm going to be careful in what I say about him, but I'm a huge Michael Bisping fan. And Vitor, when he was kind of cheating on overdoing the testosterone replacement therapy, he kicked Michael Bisping and blinded him in one eye. But what I would say is that yeah, he's in this area. I know he's taken some yoga classes from my ex-wife. I'm just not that interested in watching Oscar De La Hoya. Answer the question, how do you know? On my end, I can see the names on the page because I'm on the Facebook page watching and listening to you. Got it. Thank you, Aziel. Hi, Rich. Hi, Ansa. Oh, it's a different picture of you this time. I'd love to know your thoughts on pre-launch surveys and data collection for a product. Any tips and magic trick to get the right info to address the needs and fill the market gap? Much love from New York City. Well, thank you, Ansa. I don't know, Ansa, like my answer is going to change based on whether you have certain things or not. So if you are a long-term member of Steal Our Winners, then you might have what's called My Business Blueprint, which is different than Your Business Blueprint. Your Business Blueprint was a Founders Club report that I believe is in the Strategic Profits site, our free group, even though I used to sell that. And I think it's like one of the best introductions to how I look at starting a business and getting a business up and running. But there's another one called My Business Blueprint. And My Business Blueprint is everything I did in the first 12 months when I started Strategic Profits to take it from 0 to 7.4 million in the first year. And so I believe very strongly in pre-launch surveys and data collection for a product. In fact, more often than not, right, I would write a report. That report would kind of set the beliefs of what I needed people to believe in order to appreciate the product I have, right? So one of the definitions that I have of marketing is helping your prospects value your product, right? And the products that I've primarily sold, people have had to be educated to value it. So I wrote the manifesto, right? And after I wrote the manifesto, I asked people, now that you know this, what still stands in your way? And they gave me a bunch of answers. And actually, I wrote a second report, the missing chapter, in reply, right? But one of the reasons I asked people that is now I'm looking at what they, if I'm giving this free report and I'm asking from there, now that you know this, what will stand in your way? Whatever they tell me are what I could create a course around, right? So that is something that I used to love about launches, because when I first learned product launch formula way back in the day from Jeff Walker, it wasn't as structured as it is now. Now that it's structured, it's a lot easier for people to do. But what I enjoyed most was getting into a dialogue with the market. And Asna, I remember, and there's a video somewhere. You probably can access it in the Strategic Profits group. And it was a live stream I did where I broke down what I used to have on my whiteboard, because I had a picture of it. And that whiteboard had a ridiculous amount of social psychology tactics, heuristic biases, things of that nature, plus objectives that you need to hit during a launch. And every day we would be picking stuff off the whiteboard based on like the communication that happened over the last 24 hours. So it was really a conversation with the market, which made it so much easier to figure out exactly what people wanted, exactly what they felt was standing in their way, and you could move the crowd that way. So launches were much more haphazard. We had an objective, but we didn't know how long it was going to take to bring the crowd there. So we never really knew like our launch date, or even if we picked one, we changed it numerous times. But I'm a big believer in that. I'm also a big believer in following up with people after they didn't buy, asking them why they didn't buy, because odds are is that something that you're taking for granted, they had big questions about. So to give you an example, like when I had a marketing program that I sold, which was called D3, I did one campaign to my list, and we had a lot of people buy, which I was happy about, but I did follow up with people that didn't and offered them something if they would tell me why they didn't buy. And I got quite a few responses back. And one answer that I saw numerous times was that the person didn't know the difference between D3, which was this marketing course, and BGS, the business growth system, my flagship coaching program that all those people went through. I just took it for granted that like these are two totally different things, but apparently that cost me some money. So that follow-up is also really important. But I do think any kind of interaction is really, really valuable. And asking people like where they're struggling, what they're looking for most, where they feel they can get the most help. These things can really help you and help you create a much better launch. So I'm a big fan. If I don't have a blog, can I give content from the email? Yes, you can. Dude, you make the rules. It's your business. It's your kingdom. You can do whatever you want to do. And if people like it, they'll come on for the ride. So don't worry about it. The best place to start, the best time to start is now. And the best place to start is with whatever you can do right now. So if you don't have a blog, don't worry about it. Just send emails. Send interesting emails that have a point, that lead to a sale, and I think you're fine. Yes, looking forward to that change. I'd like to be able to sort everything inside the dashboard by topic without having to open up each one and see inside. Exactly, Lisa. And Steal Our Winners is not designed for someone to consume all of it. I mean, you're more than welcome to consume all of it, but that's not what I designed it for, right? There's a point in every marketer's like evolution where they grow up. There's a time and a place for a course. Courses are great for what they are. But after you've taken a course, right? It's like someone brand new asked me at Traffic and Funnels, I'm brand new. Is Steal Our Winners for me? And I said, well, that really depends. Let me explain. Like if you want to have a webinar for your business, right? That, you're using a webinar as your primary sales vehicle. We are not going to teach you that. Like, you need to buy a course. But once you have consumed that course and created that webinar process and the webinar funnel, and you're happy with it or you're not happy with it, but you want it to do better, and you want the registration rate to be better, and you want the show up rate to be better, and you want to convert more, and you want to sell more to the people after the webinar, all of those questions are answered in Steal Our Winners. So there's a point in time in your evolution as a marketer where you no longer go to courses because 80% of that course is going to be redundant. What you want is a way to get the best strategies and the best tactics right now in a way that's easily consumable, in a way that doesn't take lots of time, so that you can immediately execute those things. And so for me, the way I look at it is that, yeah, that's what Steal Our Winners is supposed to be about. It is going to be searchable by tag. So you could say, like, I just want the Steal Our Winners related to email. And then of those that are related to email, I only want the ones about conversion or anything else, right? You can double tag and do searches and all kinds of stuff like that. Plus, they are no longer now contained in an issue like the way they were before. Totally different dynamics. So you're going to love it, Lisa. It is so much better than you can even imagine right now. And I say that because my team surprised me and did it, and it was much better than I imagined. So, and at least the people around me say I am not easy to please. So I don't know if that's true. Kim, is that true? I don't know. Rich, is there a way to share an idea with you that I think would help you on an email? Sure, you can do that, or you could message me here in Facebook. If you want, you can always, although I forget to check this, but I'll check it. If you email Richard, my full name, Richard, at Schefren.com, put client in the subject line, I'll eventually read it. I haven't looked in that Richard at Schefren.com in a long time, but I probably should. So if you email me there, then I will find it. And you might have to remind me, Francisco, that you sent it to me on the next live stream. But if you do, I will check it then. Promise. So great topic. Thanks. I was referring to more personal stuff of the person, maybe funny, learn from stories, how they started, maybe why, various more personal stuff on the SOW people. Yeah, that could be interesting, but I want it to be valuable, right? Like, and that would take too long. And that's why I'm thinking what would be short that would be valuable, that people might want to listen to one after another after another. At least that's what I'm thinking right now. What is your preference for a membership group that opens once or twice a year versus always open to new members? I think that courses can be very effective at opening them up once or twice a year. I see membership sites as being very different than a course. A course has a beginning and end. A membership site, like, ideally never ends, and people want to be members for an insanely long period of time. I'd be concerned. I don't know what I get the scarcity aspect of it. I don't like that idea that much, Chad. I think that I don't know that you're purposely making less. Maybe you're more efficient, but you're not more effective. You're not going to maximize income that way. On a course you could, but on a membership site, I don't know. It feels a little off that way. Can you talk about your secret project? I'm wondering how close to completion you are with something you talked about a couple of years ago. It all depends, Daryl. I'm not sure which secret project that was. I was working on this AI one that we did in Agora that I was planning on rolling out, but that was sitevisitor.ai, but decided not to. So there was that. The next big thing that we have right now is what we're doing with Steal Our Winners. And I would say that we're definitely doing something in the month of August for it. And then I think the following month is when people will see it. So I'd say we're maximum 3 months out, more likely 2 months out, I think. Can product launch formula? I don't know what the question is, but look, product. I'm a huge fan of Jeff Walker, and Jeff and I are close friends. And I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for product launch formulas. So I'm very thankful to Jeff. I'm a very big fan of the overall strategy. And I really think that it's one of the best courses out there, especially if you're a good marketer, because what you can do with it, you can make your own. Davey Paul here. Thoughts on monthly versus yearly membership pricing, also content schedule once per week, month, etc. What have you found to be better from your experience in SOW discussions? Well, so, in the beginning, where you don't really know what retention is going to be like, it's always better to sell longer periods of time, right? The issue is, what does that do to engagement? And I don't know. Right? Like, once we have this new platform in place, we'll get a lot of the answers that I've wanted to know. Like, for example, when someone joins for a year, do they check the site less often? When someone buys a lifetime, do they check the site less often? I want to know these things, right? In addition to that, like when someone buys monthly, like how long do they stay a member before they cancel or before their credit card gets declined, right? And obviously, we would like to, let's say the average is 8 months. Then if we sell annual subscriptions, we work out ahead to anyone that we sell that to, right? So it's partly a question of what works best for your business. Now, when you're going to sell a business, it's worth more if it's monthly continuity as opposed to annual. And that's because the person buying the business can be assured that everyone that is currently a member wants to be a member because they had the choice this month or last month whether they wanted to continue being a member. When it's annual, there could be a lot of people who rejoined who are not planning on rejoining again, and therefore that membership or that client list could be worth less. And so along those lines, right, I'm a bigger fan of monthly, but I like locking people in for annual and even lifetime, because if we can get people in lifetime, right, and we get people in lifetime and they really stay engaged with our platform, we'll have the opportunity to sell them other things. And so we will still make money on that person. What's most important is that we have their attention, right? So as long as I have someone's attention, right, then I'm not as like, if people, when they buy the annual, stop coming, or if they buy the lifetime, they stop coming, right, just knowing it's there and they can just whenever, but they never come, then that's not good for us. However, like if it's a longer period of time than what the average person sticks in, now we got to like figure out which of these issues is more pressing and should dictate what we do. But at the end of the day, if you have a very engaged community, there's many things besides the actual product that we could sell. So, just because someone has a lifetime of Steal Our Winners doesn't mean that we've exploited all opportunities to sell them things. It just means now we have an audience somewhat like that we can communicate with and can sell our contributors' products, my own other products, right? Advanced stuff, coaching on some of the tactics of Steal Our Winners, challenges, things like that. So there's tons that we can do. And so I'm all for people buying lifetime, annual, etc. I'd love it if I had, 100,000 people paying monthly. But I'll take it in any form that I can get it, because at the end of the day, having a group of people in that you're delivering value to monthly opens up lots of other opportunities. Thank you much for the detailed response, Rich. Super helpful. Much appreciated. My pleasure, Ansa. Can PLF launch videos? Can work, but just using series of blog posts, content series instead. You could do that. It would be a lot more difficult to make it work these days. I mean, when I started, like, video was just not that easy, and most people didn't have the bandwidth, so it was a different time. I would think that if you could do it, you could even make sales, but you wouldn't maximize your sales. I am not easy to please, Rich. That's what she said. Okay. I thought you wanted me to call you Lisa, not Lisa Beth Rosenberg. Hey, Rich. We are looking at prospecting for a digital marketing agency to sell software. How is the pop under method working for building your pixel to target competitors? Is this working for you? It's working for clients of mine. It's not our top priority. We got too many things on our list. So we can only do, which is my whole point, right? Like, my whole point is that no one is designed to do everything in Steal Our Winners. You pick the ones that are most appropriate for you. I would like to do that one, but like, there is so much more important stuff, like mapping out the journey, right? We want to make the program better and better and better, right? We want to make the value more and more and more. And we want to make it easier and easier to get an outcome. Then we want to get people outcomes as quickly as possible. And so there's so much along those lines, right? I really feel like with Steal Our Winners, it's mine to lose. That, like I was explaining to Tony Flores, who used to be Clayton Makepeace's protege and also wrote all of like Clayton Makepeace's educational content, like his big course and all those things. And Tony and I have worked together for a long time. And why am I telling you this story? Where was I going to? I totally spaced where I was going with that. Sorry. Remember what I was thinking. All right. Well, maybe it'll come back to me. If you have to choose what to email more to your list, story emails or education marketing emails, and what would be the percentage of each? A lot more stories, but you can educate through stories. So it's not a one or the other. Slice of Life is story-based, education-based, right? There's stories to illustrate a point. And that would be like what I'm talking about. This might help map out the customer journey. Then at each touch point, give value, create impact, and deliver an experience, including what emotions you want to have. Yeah, that's part of it, Ty, right? Certainly, you want to give value, create impact, and deliver on the experience. But there are many objectives that you might have that also help like people be engaged and do more, right? And so you want to be like getting someone to comment the first time, right? How do we incentivize that? Getting someone to fill out their member profile. How do we get them to do that, right? Getting people to whitelist, or like all of these elements need to be kind of scripted on how we plan on accomplishing it. So at a very basic level, Ty, yes, you definitely like it's what you're suggesting is 1,000 times better than nothing, right? Which is what I think most people do, close to nothing. So yeah, you can certainly, every touch point, you should be delivering some kind of value. You should try and create some kind of impact, some kind of bonding, know, like, and trust you more, and an experience that makes them happy that they're a member, for sure. That answered my question. Thank you. Cool. How many interviews a month do you release for your subscription? Generally about 8. We've done some 10, sometimes 12. I don't think we've ever gone below 8. I don't think. But these are 8 different strategies and tactics that are currently crushing it online. I mean, we certainly could deliver a lot less, but because I feel like there are so many parts of the online equation and that it is not designed all to be consumed. I mean, you would be, if you are going to consume them all, you would be consuming them for a different reason, right? So if we're talking about what Steal Our Winners is designed for, it's designed for you to come in, find the tactic that is like going to grow your business the most, and then go out and use it, right? If you were going to watch all of them, then I'd be watching them from a different perspective. Like I'd be watching them with, like, what mental model is this based on? Like trying to identify that, and how can I connect these different strategies as far as like, what is the pattern here to recognize so that I can invent my own strategies? Like I might do something like that, but the idea of what CLR winners was not designed for someone to consume it all. Regarding SOW lifetime, I block time in my schedule to defeat the I'll get to it later, have found to be a big win for me. Very cool. That's a good idea, Davey. Thank you. Gala from Hilton Head. Well, hello, Gala. And Richard, thoughts on Robert Kiyosaki? He looks arrogant and sarcastic. My mom said, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say it. I think this live stream format with dialogue once, twice a week is great for engagement and retention. I think so. Rich, do you have a specific strategy around finding out specifically what prospects want to buy in the products you are creating or planning on creating? Yes, I do. I can share some of them. And Mr. Fletcher in the house. Hey, Aaron Fletcher. I appreciate you. And I think Aaron has one of the best courses on how to create a course. And one of the reasons why I'm such a big fan of what Aaron creates and the Fletcher method in general is that I don't think anyone else has put together a package on how to create a course where the course sells itself, kind of like the iPhone, right? That, you know, the product is the marketing. Aaron has figured out a way to teach people how to create a course where the content and the way it's packaged and codified and broken down is actually a selling point. Really cool stuff. And I'm a big fan of Aaron's, as I was of a lot of Steal Our Winners contributors. I was a fan of theirs before they were a contributor, and I got to know them because I saw what they were doing and I was very impressed by it. So, you know, one of the things, Ron, that I've done in the past is I would often create an intake survey, and you would have to fill that out before you got access to our platform. Like that was blocking the platform, and it might be like a 15-minute long thing to take. Like, and so I would be asking questions like, "What are you most excited to learn about? What is the biggest challenge you're hoping to resolve through this program?" You know, a bunch of questions that would give me insight into what it is people are trying to achieve and what were the big like reasons for buying, what are they most excited to accomplish, and what's their timeline and things like that, Ron. So, I mean, when I do a consult, this is a given. So whenever I do a consult, whether it's an hour, a day, a multi-day, the very first thing I want to cover is what needs to be true when we're finished that is not true now, that would make this time together the best investment you've ever made in your entire life. Because I need to know that, because I'm going to write it on the whiteboard, and then I'm going to make sure that we accomplish that in our time together, right? So I want to know what it is that isn't true now, that if it is true by the time we're done, this will be the most profitable investment you've ever made in your entire life. And once we get that on the board, then the next question is, how will you know that you got it, right? So that we can be very clear exactly what I got to do. And this way, that becomes my guiding light of the time I'm going to work with them for that period, right? Whatever it is, an hour, day, whatever. And so with the course as well, I will, you know, when I first did BGS, I spoke to every prospective client because I interviewed them to determine whether I was accepting them into the program or not. Yeah, I mean, I would always do a pre-launch, and in that pre-launch, I'd be doing lots of blog posts. What you're like when I sold GPS, what's your biggest constraint? I tried to foster as much dialogue as possible. And in that dialogue, I always found my answers. If you get into enough conversations with people in your market, you will get all the answers that you need in order to create the best program and the most compelling way to offer it. You can take that to the bank for sure. Since you're switching the way SOW is set up, looking forward to it, how will you define engagement? Frequency, amount of time on site, et cetera. Well, there's a bunch of things, right? So there's frequency, there's time, and there's depth, right? So frequency is how often people log in. Depth is how deep into the site do they go? How many things do they do and watch, right? And time is pretty clear, like how much time are they spending and how do they finish an episode, et cetera. So I'll be looking at all three of these, Lisa, and then based on that, find out which one matters more to us. Does someone who logs in very frequently, are they worth more to us? Or, is someone who goes deep more, like, we'll know. And then from there, like, I think that once we break out of the issue kind of component, what I'd like to do, and I'm sure Matt will probably disagree with me because he likes to disagree with me on stuff. But my thought is that I really would like to see us break up the delivery. So instead of one issue a month, maybe it's we're delivering, 2 a week, and making it so that there's always new stuff. Because my experience in retail tells me that new sells, and you want, like, one of the things when I had the store was you never want someone who was in the store last week to come in this week and think nothing's different, because then they're not going to come in the next week. They might wait a month. And so how do we keep this place new? And one of the easiest ways is delivering new stuff every week. So my thought is that we'll eventually move to that, but I don't know how soon. But then we'll look at those different engagement scores, right? Depth, frequency, and depth and time. And we'll look at those, and then we'll look at, like, okay, 1,000 people spent over an hour on the platform this month. Okay, well, if we take a look at those 1,000 people and how much did they spend over the last 30 days? Okay, now this person logged in, these people logged in more than 5 times over the month. Okay, how much did these people spend on average per person, right? And we start looking at which stats actually allow us to know who's worth more to the company, right? Is there any stat that's inversely correlated with dropping out? So is it someone who comes every day and, like, is downloading as much as they possibly can? Is that a signal that they're canceling, or is that a signal that they're highly engaged? Is someone who never logs in, are they very likely to cancel? Or, like, so we don't know these answers, and we don't know these answers until we look at the stats and we see what they say. So I can't say specifically yet, Lisa, which embarrasses me that I don't know this, but that's why we're redesigning everything. Ditto for Aaron Fletcher and the Fletcher method. Great person and teaching. Yes, I agree, Chad. So thank you for seconding that. I like to use SOW when a method technique is congruent to where I am at or going through. And that's the whole point of it. That's what you're supposed to use it for. Rich, where is Matt and how is he doing? Matt is in Baltimore, where he always is. Although I think he's going to... I think he's going to New York City this weekend. Staying at our penthouse, I think. Don't know. We want to move to a recurring payment. Okay. I don't know who that is. If you want me to know who you are, you got to go to streamyard.com/Facebook. I would pay extra to get just what I need when I need it. Well, that might be a possibility. We're moving in that direction for sure. All right. So, the next thing, right, is understanding if you're going to do any kind of membership site, subscription site, continuity program, how are you going to sell it? Now, you could sell it by bribe, right? Like, and there were a lot of people that, well, Dan Kennedy, I think, was the first person. Well, I don't know if he's the first person, certainly popularized that. And there were a lot of people back in like 2008, 9, 10, 11, sometime around there, where they might take like a $2,000 course, offer it for free when you try their newsletter with a $1 trial, right? And they'd end up selling a ridiculous number of people, maybe like 10,000 people into their membership, but they'd lose, like, a lot in month 1, like a lot, like more than 50%, and like a lot in month 2. And like, so not a bad way to get people in, but not ideal, right? And it also means that you're going to have to create lots of products if you want to do lots of promotions like that. So understanding something that I've said countless times on those live streams, that, generally when you're selling a subscription or a membership, you want to have a focal point, right? You want to be focused. We call it the rule of one at Agora as it relates to copy. So, when you're selling a membership, and there's all this stuff, it's not so easy, right, to kind of write a compelling argument for that. And it often can be kind of hard to convert like that, right? So, because generally people have a specific issue that they're wanting to solve. And so the way we do it at Agora, right, is we sell primarily front ends by premium, by bonus, right? And that allows the bonus or premium to tap into whatever is hot in the moment and connect the prospect to the product. So the premium is what the first half of the sales letter is about. So, for example, if I was going to have a premium for Steal Our Winners, and this is why I designed Steal Our Winners the way I did, my belief is that with Steal Our Winners, one thing that makes it very unique is that pretty much every deliverable of Steal Our Winners could be used as a premium to sell Steal Our Winners, right? So our deliverables stand the test of being premiums. So when Russell Brunson, for example, shared with me the single best funnel he's ever created that has been more responsible for ClickFunnels growth than anything else, that he spends over $1 million a month profitably on, I can offer that for free when you subscribe to Steal Our Winners. That would be, now the first half of the promo would be all about this special funnel of Russell's, right? Then it says, I want to give you this absolutely free. I want to give you the strategy guide so that you can follow in his footsteps. I'll give you the transcript. I'll give you the video. I'll give you the audio. And I want to give that all to you for free when you subscribe to Steal Our Winners. And Steal Our Winners is more of these types of things, right? And then it goes into Steal Our Winners. So the second half of the copy will always be the same. The first half would be about the premium. So one of the things that I'm very proud of, because I've never seen a membership site where what we deliver is good enough, sexy enough, desirable enough that we could actually sell the entire membership from it. And that makes it unique. Next, right? How do we maximize the first month sales from these people, from new clients, right? And when I say that, I'm not trying to be greedy. I'm trying to make sure that we can grow Steal Our Winners, because what cash coming in we bring in more per client than it costs to get that client. And that is a function of cart value and then what people spend soon thereafter. And so how do we maximize that, right? And there's really so many things that you can be thinking about as it relates to a membership site, right? And what are all the things ultimately that you're going to do to feed it, right? So once we talk about how you're going to promote it, right? Are you going to sell it by premium? And if so, what's the strategy for these premiums to be developed? I mean, at Agora, the copywriter develops the premium and writes the sales letter. So, but I wanted to design something where we didn't have to create premiums. We create them by just delivering the product. But then the next thing is what are all the breadcrumbs that you're going to spread out throughout the internet that lead people to buying your membership, right? What lead gen are you going to do? What landing pages are you going to have for that? And where's the traffic going to come from to send people there, right? What are you going to have out in social media? What's the plan to maximize affiliates and the revenue that affiliates make? How could these live streams best support Steal Our Winners? How could the podcast best support Steal Our Winners and bring traffic to it? How could the YouTube videos we do send traffic to Steal Our Winners, right? So how could we have public contests? How could we have challenges? How could we have public trainings? Public trainings, really important. Can you take an element that you deliver to your membership and also either offer it for free occasionally to the public, or charge some amount for that, and then offer to, like, so let's say, for example, we're doing a training on a public challenge on how to make YouTube advertising work for your business, right? Let's just say. Then maybe we do that and it's $97, right? But so they can buy that for 97, or they can buy they can subscribe for Steal Our Winners and get it free. And so the goal would be to move people into Steal Our Winners, right? But we're doing something for the Steal Our Winners subscribers for free, charging the public, and therefore having a way that the public can get a taste of what the product is and what the training is, right? So that would be one way. And then anyone who looks at that page, right, who doesn't buy, maybe we follow them and we offer them a $1 trial. So what are all the ways that you can kind of envision this membership site being filled, right? And what are those breadcrumbs that people could follow? So we certainly could, we could take, just like we could take Russell Brunson's interview, right? We could offer that for free. We could just, like, not even just as a lead gen, and we could advertise it on ClickFunnels YouTube. Like when anybody's watching a ClickFunnels YouTube video, we could advertise it to the fans of Russell on Facebook, on Instagram, etc., right? And so that would be a great lead gen way. We can give affiliates pictures. We can give contributors pictures of them with their favorite contributors, right? Like, and now they're honored to be speaking with these people, like in the same Steal Our Winners, right? Like the way Digital Marketer does with traffic and conversion, where they let, like, it's you with the keynote speaker and Ryan and whoever else, right? So as a way of getting the word out. So there are literally so many things, right? And so, like, what I'm thinking about are, okay, besides the tactics, what other training and information can we provide people? What access? Can we provide access maybe once a month or twice a month to some of the contributors of Steal Our Winners? Can we get people a win in a very short period of time? And how would we engineer that? And how would we bribe people to participate so that they would get a win, share their win with us, so that we would accumulate a ridiculous number of stories of people who had gotten the result in a very short period of time, which would certainly help us in our marketing promotions, right? Status. Is there any way that we can tie what we do to an increase in status, both inside and outside the membership? A sense of belonging, right? Can we foster that? And how would we do that? Getting someone to join the Facebook group, that would be step one. Getting them to post to the Facebook group, that would be step two, right? Getting someone to contact, so it's scripting these out. It's recognizing that if you want certain things to happen, you can make them happen, and you don't have to hope that they happen. You can engineer it. Let's see. Damon, long time no speak. Greetings, Rich, just joined in. What criteria do you use to screen the people you choose for an interview for Steal Our Winners? As SOW grows, I can see more people wanting to be interviewed as a means of promoting themselves. So you would obviously have to have your filters up to maintain the quality of what you offer. Yeah, totally. And so I generally will, generally I talk to every single contributor before they contribute. We talk about their idea. I ask some questions about it. I ask friends in the industry if they know this person. I look at what the work that they've done. I do a lot of different things. So far, so good. I would imagine it is only, we do our best, and I think we do a decent job, but I wouldn't be surprised if at some point someone dupes us. I hope never, but that's a long time. So, good question there, Damien. So let's see what else. I've got a bunch of other stuff that I could share with you. Let's see here. What else have I got here? Yeah, so monthly challenge to increase engagement. You'll have like one of the things that we look at is like with our metrics is by source, right? So different sources of traffic, like traffic that comes from YouTube, traffic that comes from Facebook, traffic comes from a JV partner, they have different lifetime values for us, right? So which cohorts have the highest lifetime value and how do we get more of those people? VIP events and meetups. Like I do a lot of traveling and it's not lost on me that maybe I should do steal our winter meetups every once in a while because it seems to build more community and loyalty, right? So let's see. So there's all these things that can be done. And when you recognize, right, that part of what you're trying to accomplish is so much more than just recurring revenue, right? Recurring revenue rocks, don't get me wrong. But having the continual attention of people is also insanely valuable, right? Attention has value. The reason why Paris Hilton gets paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to show up at a nightclub is because that nightclub will then get attention, right? She brings attention with her. There was this site when I wrote the Attention Age Doctrines called the $1 Million Homepage. And that $1 Million Homepage was someone who sold pixels on this page. And when all the pixels were sold, it would equal $1 million in sales. And he sold it all because it became well known, right? In Japan, I don't know if they still have these, but they used to have vending machines that if you watched a commercial, you could then get a beer for free. So attention, right? Attention has value. And so, yes, having recurring revenue is very valuable, but having the continual attention of a market on a consistent basis is also insanely valuable, and you can easily build businesses off of. One of the reasons, right, that Damon is asking me, how do I vet? Because as we grow, more and more people will want to be there, right? More and more contributors will want to contribute. Part of the reason for that is because as we get more attention from more marketers, more people will want to get in front of them, right? That's, yeah. For the same reason that I find it valuable, other people will find it valuable. Probably one of the best illustrations that I've ever seen of like attention. And it might not be like one of the best examples to share, but personally, I was like, this just goes to show you. Sean Casey and Talman Knutson did a launch on list building. And as far as I know, there was no course. There were just 12 interviews with different people who had built massive lists. I was one of those 12. I think they sold like 3,000 people this $2,000 product, so $6 million in sales of this list building course. And they asked me if I would want to take, one of the 2-hour, like if I wanted to teach one of them, like one of the 2-hour blocks. And my answer, as I'm sure most of the people they asked, was yes. Because if you're going to put together in a room $3,000, $2,000 buyers, I'm going to give my best effort to be the best presentation out of those 12, with the hope that some significant percentage of the people that watch my presentation say, I really like this guy. This guy really is delivering stuff. I'm going to get on this guy's list, right? If I have the opportunity to talk to $3,000, $2,000 buyers in internet marketing, I'm doing it, right? Because like it has to translate into my business making more money, right? And what is that? I'm willing to give the content of the course they sold and kept the money for because they have the attention of a group of people that's valuable to me, right? So I just want people to fully appreciate that engagement, right, will power, people staying in for a long time. And that will add to the recurring revenue you make. But just as important is engagement leads to people just spending time on the platform, spending time with your material, spending time giving your business their attention. And that's incredibly valuable. Okay. All right. All right. Let's see. That was so great, scripting out the process to its most simple steps. Thanks, Rich. You're welcome, Patty. Hi, Rich. Could you say a bit more about how you would create a sense of belonging? Well, I'll tell you that that is not my strong suit, right? Like I'm actually learning stuff about that right now. In fact, I spoke to a woman yesterday, Sierra, who spends quite a bit of time helping companies make their communities more engaged. I've also just recently reached out to, I think it's Clients and Community or Content and Community. I forget their name. Which one is it? Clients and Community. Heard some stuff about them, so want to talk to them. But I'm not really sure. So I don't really have great answers on belonging. I probably will do some more research on that at some point. But there certainly are things that can be done to make people feel like they belong. As an introverted kind of person myself and someone who generally sticks to themselves, I can't really reference my own experiences as far as feeling like a sense of belonging. And that's why I am unsure, right, of what is best. But I know how important it is. And I do, like, I had this one experience that, when I taught the course on theory of constraints, GPS, my original plan was to teach it over a year-long, it was going to be a year-long course. And when I shared that with Mike Filsame to get his advice, he said, nobody wants a year-long course, man. I'm like, this is really hard stuff. He's like, doesn't matter. Nobody wants a year-long course. You got to figure out how to deliver it quicker. So like, okay. So I decided to deliver it over 30 days. And I did a live stream, this back in 2008. I did a live stream every morning. I think it was like from like 9 or 8:30 to 10 or something like that. And then I did a Q&A call immediately after that from like 10 to 1. And then I did another Q&A from like 8 o'clock at night till 11 o'clock at night. And we did that because we had, thousands of people from all over the world who had paid and were getting trained. And theory of constraints is kind of like algebra. It's cumulative. And if you miss lesson 2, you're screwed by lesson 4 and you won't understand anything else. So I had to be highly available for the Q&As. And that's why we did it twice a day. And I was doing it live streaming so I could draw stuff and look at people's maps and stuff like that. And anyway, this just total aside here for a second. In the survey that I was speaking to, I think, who was it earlier? Ron, I think. Yeah, Ron. I asked people, like, what was the single biggest factor that got them to buy? And the most popular answer was that it was 30 days long and that they felt like they could do almost anything for 30 days, whereas most of them had experiences of dropping out of longer programs, which I thought was kind of funny. But anyway, so I would do this live stream every morning to this private but large group every morning during, this course. And I actually had to make it a 45-day course because like people weren't getting it as fast as I thought they might. But after like the first week and a half, I remember saying to Brian, who at that time, Brian was who Matt is today. I mean, Brian used to run the day-to-day of my business. And I said to him, I don't even know if I need to show up anymore for all these people to feel good about showing up. Like we had so created a community, like same time, every day, people could chat back and forth and private chat. Like we had that functionality and like a real kind of sense of community, like people, this is what they did at this time every day, right? And they shared it with these people. So that was really powerful. And I don't know, like I use my own experience a lot as a marketer and I dissect my experience quite often. Like, when I, like, what is it about Apple that makes me want to buy Apple products? And, why do I feel the need to get a new phone even when my other phone works fine? And I ask myself these questions and try to get at it, because, what's most personal is often most general. And but since I've never felt that kind of belonging to a group, I don't know the best answer of how to cultivate it, but I will find out. And I will do it. Oh, look at Mr. James Shremko. Cool. Totally appreciate you, James. James, we got to get you an SOW, and you never gave me a link that so that I could make up to you. I was going through a crazy time. I totally bailed on James 2 times like an asshole. And I apologized profusely to James and said, dude, let me promote something of yours for free just to make it up to you. I still really want to get you in Steal Our Winners. So anyway, what does James have to say? Group dynamics. People want to belong when the group is performing. Also, they stay a long time when they have a tribal status, helping others help members stay. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Totally makes sense to me. And good to see you, James. And yeah, let's resume that conversation. I think it was in Facebook Messenger. But I really would like to have you in at some point. Attention is a jam. Fact, my focus is on the leisure time industries, nightclubs, fine dining, entertainment spaces, and we'll definitely agree with you. High attention getting people, aka stars. Attention getting is key to front-end marketing. Maintaining engagement is valuable. The most recent promo by Ryan Levesque's quiz funnel sounds like it can do both. I didn't invest in the program, but now wondering what your thoughts are on that method. I'm a fan of Ryan and his methods for sure. My client says that if she can get people to attend at least one webinar before the trial ends, then she knows they'll stick. Totally makes sense. Like Infusionsoft knows if they can get someone to create one campaign, they will stick. ClickFunnels knows that if they get someone to create a funnel, the likelihood of them sticking is much higher. So goes with the territory. I apologize, Rich. I'll catch the rest in replay. You don't have to apologize for leaving. I do these either way. I have a meeting starting soon. Thank you for such great information. Well, thank you for saying that, Daryl. Could you say a bit more about how you would create a sense of belonging? Okay, that's what we were just talking about. Asana, hello, Rich, and everyone from Egypt. Well, I think you're the only one from Egypt, so I think you're wishing everyone a hello from Egypt, right? Make the membership the place to be for in the know people, who's who, so to speak. Help a few clubs create. It's tricky, but very beneficial. Yeah, I mean, look, I did that in Manhattan, right? I created the coolest store in Manhattan, like the hot store, right? That Giorgio Armani shopped in, Calvin Klein shopped in, Uma Thurman, Drew Barrymore, Madonna, Dolce & Gabbana, everyone, right? So I know like what that is. I know how, like, I know that element, but that's like that's the kind of the velvet rope. Like, can we create something that everyone wants to be a part of? Like, but that's not belonging per se, right? Like, it's a little bit different. I see belonging as a little bit more personal. Maybe I'm wrong and I have to think more about this, but like I said, I haven't thought much about this and I need to, so I will definitely have more to say about it. And James said, haha, let's do it. All right. So yeah, give me something I can promote of yours so I can feel good about myself again, man. I like, and why, like, let me like explain just to everyone else. I will, when someone stands me up twice, in general, like I go the other direction. So I feel like a real hypocrite and a real asshole for doing that to James, because I have a lot of respect for James. And yeah, so I was wrong and I don't like that. So I try to make things right. All right. So let's see. Looking at some of my highlights here. All right. All right. I mean, I wouldn't say that this isn't something to concern yourself when you're first starting, right? When you're first starting, the most important part is the offer and can you get people and can you keep people? But as you start investing more into whatever kind of continuity it is, there is an opportunity cost to not having the flexibility of a dynamic platform. Anytime you have an idea that you know will be profitable, but you can't implement it because of the technology, there's a cost to that. And in the beginning, those costs will be small because there's not a big membership. You're not going to be able to you're not losing that much by not being able to do something. But as time goes on, that will change. It's one of the reasons why, we're using on the newer version, we're going to be using WordPress with Memberimium or whatever the thing is that integrates with Infusionsoft and a few other things. But that technology aspect will allow us to do a lot of things that other people can't, and then because of that, we'll make more money because of that. All right, let's see. Okay, looking at this, and let's see. Trying to think of if there's anything else there's a lot I could share in my notes, but I don't know if I want to kind of just keep dumping stuff. I'd really like to answer more questions if you have them. And if not, maybe we'll end a little early tonight because I'm totally cool with that. But I'm totally down for being here if you guys have questions. And, we've stayed at kind of a steady rate here. Let's see. I should actually put my banners up. I forget to do that, but let's do it. Cool. And so those are where you can find me in all the different places. And let's see here if I can pull up a note that might make me feel like I want to talk more. Hold on. Let's see. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm just going to read some bullet points to you here for a second and wait for you to have some questions if you do. Membership sites are best known for the recurring monthly revenue. When we think about our online memberships, it isn't the recurring nature of it that is the big sticking point in selling it. It is the offer. We will pay every month for something that we cannot do without. We will pay every month for something that is difficult to walk away from, right? It's called the pain of disconnect. But at the core, we will gladly pay monthly for something which we see giving us more value each month than what we're being paid to ask, right? So it all starts with your offer. What are people going to get each and every month? What is the real world value of the benefits they're going to receive each and every month? What impact will it have on their daily lives, on their weekly lives, monthly lives, their business, their family, etc.? You have to give more value than what you're asking. That should be obvious. Furthermore, they need to see and know that what they are getting is worth more to them than what they're paying each month. Always remember that you're not selling a bunch of videos or some written words. You're selling the outcome and the benefits that come with having that outcome or getting that outcome. And your price correlates with that, right? The outcome. You're also positioning your price around that. So how do you enhance your digital offer, so to speak, your membership? Well, there are a number of things. You can have training and information, access, clarity and speed, done for you options, status, right? Sense of belonging, software, and God knows what else, right? You can have a guarantee. You can make it easy for people to cancel, to reduce the risk there. So that is that note. And some recommended tools for forms and user registration and quizzes, gravityforms.com for site performance and caching, WP Rocket. You have to be careful that it doesn't interact with your membership site. SEO plugin, FV Simpler SEO, lead capture, Groove, ClickFunnels, Thrive Leads, hosting. I think everybody's okay there. Security, WordFence, right? It's a good security plugin for WordPress. And too many membership plugins to mention. Let's see here. So what I would say is next for Steal Our Winners for us is mapping out that membership journey map, right? And really kind of putting together the Gauntlet series, which I know I recorded some videos, but I don't know if they ever made it into the platform. And really help once frame the membership, why it's valuable, how you should interact with it, et cetera. And then how we get engagement really fast. That's what I'm going to be looking at. All right, let's see here. Okay. Add belonging to a group. Seth Godin's Tribe is a good example. Oh, I never read that. I've downloaded that. I should read that. He made the group do small projects together in a self-organized way. He showed and answered questions for quite some time. From originally 3,000 people, about 100 are still in touch on a Facebook group. 10 years later, have built friendships, etc. I am one of them. Very cool, John. And thanks for sharing that story. That's pretty awesome. Great sticking points. Cool. With membership content, I debate about starting with beginner type content or go with higher end or more professional content and offer beginning stuff on the side. It really depends, Davey, who you're going after, and that really should dictate it. Looking to launch a paid for newsletter aimed at faith-based entrepreneurs, tips on delivery, price, so on. Well, so what is it though, Facebook user, that you're going to be delivering each month? Like, I think it could be aimed at faith-based entrepreneurs, but what changes in their life from month to month that would be valuable to learn, right? We don't take a book and break it down into pieces and then call that a subscription, because like there's nothing changing. That should just be a course. So I get that it's faith-based entrepreneurs, but what is it? Like, what are they going to get each month? Are they getting like sermons? Are they like, what are you going to deliver? So I think like that really determines the delivery price and everything else. So just the market itself, I don't think is enough for me to really be able to help you there. Best in-app message software. I don't know. Good question though. Rich, who has GEO sniffing for auto currency? Oh, geo sniffing. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't even know if we offer it. I don't think we do. Digital is global, yet forcing people into US cut sales. My core markets are USA and India, yet auto currency switching is the holy grail. Well, I could see that, I guess. I mean, we have licensees, and so it's like, yeah, I mean, not a bad idea, actually. I wonder how much we lose because of that. Andrew Delgado, the Guru's Guru. I think I was just talking about you earlier, Andrew. Cool to see you. Anyway, so I guess that's it, guys. No reason to make this a longer stream than it should be, right? So what have we talked about? We talked about, these past 2 days, we talked about why you would want recurring, right? The benefits of it. And it's more than just recurring revenue. It's that you're getting people's attention over a consistent period of time and how valuable that is. We talked about selling by premium and how you need to know the vehicle of how you're going to sell it. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so proud of Steal Our Winners. We talked about this understanding of drawing out a membership journey map and really kind of executing everything that you want to happen can happen if you kind of figure out the steps that lead people to that outcome, right? I mean, one of the most important things for me as we go into the new platform is us really figuring out, how do we incentivize people with a contest of some sort to get an outcome extremely fast, so that we're really incentivizing people to dive into the material and use it and do something with it? Because if we do that, one, I know people will stick. Two, we'll generate a ridiculous number of case studies, which will make more people buy, right? So it'll create a flywheel for us. So that's an area that I know I really want to spend a lot of my thinking time on that, right? Like, I think I've shared this in the past, but just in case I haven't, one of the things I always did in my coaching programs would be to incentivize, not in the very beginning because I didn't know better, but as I became more experienced, I would incentivize the outcome tremendously, right? I'd have, like when I was doing GPS, I had a contest once a week. We would fly down the best case study to my office. They'd spend the morning with me. They'd spend the afternoon with my team, and my team would be working on helping them with their business the whole time, growing their business. So we had lots of people apply each week. And that means we were getting lots of case studies each week and attempting to do more than just the outcome to get people to do stuff, right? So that's what we used to do there. And I'm going to do nothing different, like as it relates to Steal Our Winners. We will engineer that into it as well. Thank you, Renan. Great, Mayor. Good to see you, my friend. And hey, Rich, who was the person you interviewed in SOW about how to build an audience of your competitors' customers and market to them dirt cheap using pop unders? That would be Gohar Chaudhry and also kind of Tim Bird. Great to see you. Good to be seen. Your partner is busy flying around, but he said he's coming here soon. Thank you again. You're welcome. Thanks a ton. Super timely. I'm in the middle of working on improving conversions for my client subscription service, so this is perfect. Happy I stayed awake almost 3 a.m. here. Wow, you're a trooper. Wes is my coach, and he speaks highly of you, man. Oh, very cool. Well, tell Wes I say hi. Thanks for sharing so much value. Bye. Cool. Bye. So goodbye, all. Be here on Tuesday from 2 to 4. Till then, to higher profits and beyond. Rich Schefren over and out.